Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another Make It With Me Monday. Hard to believe we're already near the end of November, basically. Thanksgiving is this week. We're, getting ready for families to come and visit and, defrosting our turkeys, I hope. I hope you remember to take that out of the freezer by this point. But I thank you guys for coming and spending just a little time to be creative and spend it here with me stamping. Alrighty, so I'm just going to wait for a couple people to pop in while I'm talking about this first. One of the things I love about Stampin' Up! Is one of their basic core value type thing, whatever, is to make a difference. And we often offer up a stamp set that is actually a fundraiser. And in case you missed it, this is the current one that we have going. It's in the July to December mini catalog, pretty much right in the front, so page 5. It's called Strong of Heart. And heart disease is something that's very close to the heart of, hi Jessie, nice to see you tonight. The current CEO, her husband had a heart attack a few years ago, at kind of unexpectedly young age and stuff, and they've taken up heart disease as one of their causes that they would like to help out. So a portion of the sales of this stamp set will go towards heart disease and heart-related charities. I don't know if they specifically told us which one yet. I'll try to find out. But, excuse me, I have a little frog in my throat tonight, so I might have to just clear that throat every once in a while. So Strong of Heart, again, page 5. It's got this really pretty outline image. These flowers are really fun to color. And then this heart will either fill in that image or it makes a really, really cute background. I agree, Jessie. It's a good one. And then there's this really adorable little teeny heart that's really cool. So the phrases are, through struggle comes strength, stronger than you know, you amaze me, and here for you. So these are really good messages for hope and comfort and uplifting, and of course the heart theme to go with it, all about everyone you love. So I'm going to show you a couple of samples that I've made already with it. We did this one a while back for a Make It With Me Monday. So I used the phrase and the little heart, and then I just used this one here, the scribbly heart, as background stamps. So unless you're looking really closely, you might not even realize that that is a heart. And I did this one for a swap a while ago. So there, I did use the heart to fill in. I colored, and then I actually, in place of these little flowers here, I stamped this little heart and hand fussy cut it and put it in place of the flower image over there. So this one is a fun one to make, and it was for a color challenge, which was Cherry Cobbler, Sahara Sand, and Very Vanilla. So I took that a piece that I liked. I like this card really a lot. And I used that for my color palette for what we're making tonight. So you'll probably see similar colors in what I'm doing. Okay, get that off to the side. Let's see what you needed for tonight. You needed a piece of neutral cardstock that was 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to be using our thick Very Vanilla. You needed another piece of neutral cardstock that was 3 3/4 of an inch by 3 inches. So super, super tiny. That's for your phrase. And that you're going to want some kind of stamped, or phrase to stamp in that one. Cardstock number 1 was 3.5 by 5. There's my Cherry Cobbler that I just talked about. Cardstock number 2, 1 3/8 by 2. There's my Sahara Sand that I just mentioned. And Designer Series paper, 2.5 by 3, and we're going to use it vertically. So the 3 is this way and the 2.5 is this way. And this one comes from Tidings of Christmas, which is in the annual catalog, actually, on page 133. All right, so first things first, let's get that phrase stamped so that we get that part out of the way. And the rest is just assembly. So this is going to be super quick to do. And I'm just going to pull this a little closer, and pardon if my head gets in the way because I want to be able to see what I'm doing. All right, there is my You Amaze Me. And I stamped that in Cherry Cobbler on my Very Vanilla. Okay, get that one out of the way and set him aside. All right, so here is your super quick assembly. Now I'm gonna assemble everything flat, no dimension. You can feel free to add dimensionals into any layer that you want. Oop, I have Cherry Cobbler ink on my fingers. Let's go use that side instead. You can feel free to pop up any or all of these layers as you wish. Like I said, I'm going to assemble it completely flat tonight so you can see what that looks like. And I forgot to bring my bow and folder over, so I'm just going to use my scissor edge there. Okay, so you're going to start by mounting your 3.5 by 5 cardstock. You have a couple of choices. You can do it directly centered. You could do it off to one corner. centered but off to the side. That's it. So decide where you think you like that to go. I'm going to start mine just right in the center. I have a couple samples later I can show you where I've changed the positioning on that. All right, so that's just going to go right in the middle. Oh, there's a kitten outside my door who wants to come visit. Okay, next up is your designer series paper. Now again, I'm going to aim mine to kind of go about there, so I have kind of an even border across the bottom and the right side. There again, you could have it up a little higher, kind of, you know, wherever you'd like it to be. I'm going to go for that lower quadrant. Like right about there, I think. Then you're going to take that little piece of cardstock, and that's going to go towards the upper corner of the designer series paper, like that. All right. And then you're going to take your phrase, and again, this is a spot you could consider popping it up. Your phrase is just going to cover over wherever you want it to be. So if you want some of that cardstock showing, go for it. If you don't, completely cover it up. That's cool too. You can have it going more towards the corner here. So somewhere in here is where your phrase is going to end up. So like I said, this one is super simple in its basic form. Hi, Kathy. Glad you could pop on tonight. So like I said, this one is super simple in its basic form. I didn't do any dimensionals. I didn't do any extra stamping. I have very plain colors and a very plain color palette. You can obviously take this in a lot of directions. So let me start by showing you the stepped up version. I used the same colors, and let me bring this up a little closer. What I did was I embossed the cobbler layer with the painted texture embossing folder. It's in the annual catalog, page 155. I did the same thing to the Sahara sand piece, so those have a little bit of texture. I popped this piece up on dimensionals, and I popped, because it's laying on top of that my phrase is also going to look like it's popped up a little bit. I also did a little flag indent, and I added some cherry cobbler rhinestones from the holiday rhinestone pack, which is on page 142 of the annual catalog. So you can see they're pretty much exact the same layout, same color palette, just a little bit of stepped up to make like a couple things pop out. And I personally love my embossing folders. To me, a card doesn't feel like my card unless it has something like that on it. Okay, let me show you a couple others with this same layout. Now I'm going to start off by saying on this one I did cheat a little bit because this is actually all from the same piece of paper. Okay, so you may have overlooked these in the back of the annual catalog. They're on page 135, and it's called Ombre Specialty Paper. It comes in 4 colors. There's Gorgeous Grape. These are 12 by 12 sheets, kind of thick and glittery. And then as you can see, hopefully it shows up well in here, the ombre, it starts very light and goes very dark. And then there's Poppy Parade, Mango Melody, and Night of Navy. And I got these pretty much right when the catalog came out, and then I just almost completely forgot I had them. And as I was looking through it the other day, I was like, I need to play with these. So again, like I said, I kind of cheated because this is all from the same piece. I just used different portions of it to make it look lighter and darker. So the biggest piece started with the lightest color, and then this piece started with the darkest, and then that's the middle. So, and then I also rounded the corners on a few of them just to give it a little bit of interest. And that phrase comes from Lighthearted Lines. This one is on page 31 of the annual catalog, and I got this one because there's a couple things that Lighthearted really does do this justice. It makes me chuckle. So I'm sorry for what I've said when I was hangry. Don't grow up, it's a trap. A lot of really cute little phrases for that. And there again, that's what I used on there. When nothing's right, when nothing goes right, go left. So kind of a little support and encouragement idea there. Now again, we've talked in the past about how neutral could mean, it doesn't necessarily have to mean white or vanilla. So here's a version I did with crumb cake as my neutral. So my card base and my little phrase piece are in crumb cake. And then this is Bumblebee and Calypso Coral and Harvest Meadow Designer Series paper from the mini catalog, page 55. And then that's the Nature's Harvest stamp set as well. Let me bring this up a little bit. I added a little stamping to the background here. I stamped it off once and then onto the paper, so it's super light, but just a little bit of that dandelion imagery. And then the phrase is, I just took the top half of this one. I masked out the bottom, so it says Sending Healing Thoughts. Okay, and I used a little bit of the Bumblebee checked ribbon which is in the back of the annual catalog on page 140. All right, and then every once in a while I like to show you guys how you can just switch up the layout. So here is a version I did in landscape instead of portrait. So all the measurements are the same. Here's my 3.5 by 5 piece. It's Misty Moonlight. Here is my designer series paper. It comes from the Whimsy and Wonder designer series paper. It's one of the back sides of it. The Whimsy and Wonder has the really bright pink and light green and silver. But then the back side has this really pretty, there's tiny little Christmas trees and snowflakes and stars on that Misty Moonlight paper. And then I used a little bit of Night and Navy. And from the annual catalog, I grabbed my Flowers for Every Season ribbon. It's got 3 different types in it. And this particular one is twine that is silver, white, and Misty Moonlight all together. So it was kind of nice to put a little something on that. I used the Merry Christmas for my phrase. And again, those holiday rhinestones. And that phrase comes from Christmas to Remember. It's part of the collection. Starts on page 19, I believe, in the mini catalog of the ones that have all the pine cones and what else is there? Pine boughs, all those kinds of really cute cutouts and stamps for that. All right. Well, I told you guys this would be super quick. I think we've barely even hit 10 minutes here. But I like this because this is a good one to do really quick when you only have a little bit of time. You forgot one that you have to get in the mail super quick. Grab a couple shapes of color. Start with your designer series paper, build out from there, and one little phrase and you're pretty much done. So I can't wait to see what you guys do with this layout. Make sure you share your pictures. Thanks, Kathy and Jesse. I think they're cute too. So show me what you've made with what you have picked out for tonight and share them on the page. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to you too, Kathy and everybody. I hope you have a great holiday week. It's going to feel short because, well, for us anyway, the kids are done with school tomorrow. We have 3 days off. So that'll be kind of nice. A lot of family time. And maybe, hopefully, if the weather's good, we'll actually start thinking about putting up our Christmas lights that we take advantage of no snow and ice on the ground. That's always a good thing. All right, everybody, make sure you share what you have here. I will have links to the video posted on YouTube and photos and all that stuff up within like an hour or so. All right, thanks for joining me tonight, guys. Have a great evening. Bye now.